Robert De Niro is one of the most celebrated actors in the history of cinema, with a career spanning more than 5 decades. His name is synonymous with iconic performances in films like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, The Godfather series, Goodfellas, and many more. Throughout his career, De Niro has been a powerful force in Hollywood, recognized for his ability to portray complex characters and for his intense, transformative approach to acting. But over the years, as his fame and wealth have grown, so too has his public persona as a vocal critic of politics, social injustices, and the status quo. In some circles, however, this has sparked an intriguing and controversial question. Is Robert De Niro a hypocrite, the public persona, progressive advocate, and outspoken critic? De Niro's reputation as a staunch liberal and outspoken political activist is well known. He has repeatedly used his platform to express dissatisfaction with conservative politics, most notably through his criticism of former President Donald Trump. De Niro's disdain for Trump became particularly apparent during the 2016 election campaign, when he referred to Trump as a punk and a blowhard, calling for his defeat in one of the most public displays of celebrity political engagement. He has also spoken out on issues such as climate change, social justice, income inequality, and racial discrimination, aligning himself with progressive causes that advocate for a more egalitarian society. Perhaps most notably in 2018, De Niro's outburst at the Tony Awards, where he shouted "Fique Trump," made international headlines. His political rhetoric and willingness to confront powerful figures directly positioned him as an important voice in Hollywood's progressive community. He has also spoken out against gun violence and advocated for the protection of civil liberties. In his public appearances and speeches, De Niro often portrays himself as a champion for the working class and a defender of societal values that emphasize fairness and equality. The other side, wealth, luxury, and Hollywood's system. However, as De Niro has become an increasingly prominent critic of the wealthy and powerful elite, his lifestyle and investments have come under scrutiny. De Niro, despite his fervent activism, is far from the image of a humble working-class hero. He has amassed substantial wealth throughout his career, with a reported net worth of over $500 million. He owns a variety of high-end properties, including a luxury estate in Manhattan and a private residence in the Hamptons. He also owns several upscale restaurants and hotels, such as the swanky Nobu chain of restaurants and the Luxury Hotel Group, which caters to wealthy clientele and is involved in the high-end hospitality business. For instance, De Niro's participation in the luxury restaurant and hotel industries stands in stark contrast to his critiques of corporate greed and economic inequality. The hospitality business, particularly the upscale sector, often thrives on maintaining exclusive environments that serve the elite and profits from systems that perpetuate class disparities. While De Niro may be critiquing wealth concentration, he is undeniably a part of it, benefiting from the very mechanisms he opposes. This has led some to label him a hypocrite, drawing attention to the fact that his activism often feels disconnected from the privileges he enjoys in his own life. The hypocrisy debate: is De Niro a hypocrite? The crux of the debate is whether De Niro's activism, which often targets the very structures of wealth and power, is authentic, or if it's merely an attempt to play the role of the noble rebel while still reaping the rewards of the very systems he criticizes. Critics point out that his wealth, public persona, and participation in the luxury industries make him complicit in the very systems of economic inequality he speaks out against. Moreover, his criticism of the political elite can sometimes seem hollow when coming from someone who has enjoyed the privileges of fame and fortune for much of his life. If De Niro is truly opposed to the concentration of wealth, critics argue, then why does he continue to profit from the very industries that are emblematic of that wealth disparity? The nuance of Hollywood's complex system? Criticism of De Niro as a hypocrite can, at times, oversimplify the deeper complexities of his position within the entertainment industry. Hollywood isn't just an industry, it's a multifaceted ecosystem deeply entrenched in the commercialization of talent, fame, and wealth. For someone like De Niro, a figure who has reached the pinnacle of the system, these contradictions are inescapable. He's not just a product of Hollywood, he's become a defining figure within it, with a level of success that brings both admiration and, inevitably, criticism. To be at the top of your field in Hollywood while maintaining a progressive political stance requires confronting the tension between personal success and the inherent inequalities of the industry itself. It's also essential to recognize that De Niro's activism holds substantial weight, regardless of his wealth. His involvement in advocating for progressive causes like income inequality, gun control, climate change, and social justice is not only well documented, but also deeply impactful. In this light, De Niro's wealth becomes less a contradiction and more an amplifier for the causes he champions. His platform allows him to do what few can: bring issues like economic disparity or environmental crisis to the forefront of public consciousness. Furthermore, De Niro has never presented himself as an unattainable ideal or as a flawless figure in the fight for social change. His activism is rooted in a nuanced understanding that real transformation doesn't come from idealized purity. Change, particularly in a system as complex and entrenched as Hollywood, requires the participation of those within it, including those who benefit from it. His wealth and involvement in the luxury sectors may stem from the very forces he critiques, but that doesn't negate the value of his work as a public figure or his continued push for progressive change. The contradictions are real, but they don't necessarily undermine the sincerity or effectiveness of his activism. Conclusion: is Robert De Niro a hypocrite or a product of Hollywood? In the end, the question of whether Robert De Niro is a hypocrite or simply a product of Hollywood's inherent contradictions is not easily answered. Like many successful figures in the entertainment industry, De Niro is both a product of and a critic of the very system that has made him wealthy. He participates in the system, benefits from it, and uses his platform to challenge it. Whether or not this makes him a hypocrite depends on one's perspective on celebrity activism and the complexities of living in a system that often asks its participants to both thrive within and critique the same structure. While De Niro's wealth and lifestyle may create tension with his political views, his ability to influence public discourse and his willingness to challenge the powers that be is undeniable. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let's keep the conversation going.